Tracy here. I am going to do this art journal page, and I did a video so you can follow me along and see all the successes and all the mishaps that happen when I art journal. I hope you enjoy. It's time for another art journal page, and I thought I would share with you how I come up with my ideas. And the first thing is my friend Caroline and I, we come up with prompts for each month. So we try to do a art journal page. It comes to about every 6 weeks. So this is what the art journal page is, the theme, and it is to use a girl image. And then I just write some ideas. I usually get a picture in my head and it looks better than this. This is my drawing. Look, it looks like she's wearing like Frankenstein boots. So I'm not a very good artist as in drawer, but I kind of draw out what I'd like. Then I write down how I'm going to go about using it, or if I want to use any new techniques, or if I want to use any certain mediums, I'll write them down here. Do they look like this at the end? No. Do I use everything? Not always. But this time I want to do a lot of background stamping or layering on my pages. So that's what I'm planning to do on this one. So the image I had in mind is this one here from Unity Stamp, and I haven't never used it, which is not shocking, but I just had to make sure that it actually fit on my page, and it will fit on my page. So with that being said, I have to clean off my desk because it's full of stuff. I should actually clean up my whole room, but like, who has time for that? So I'll clean off my desk, I'll set down my papers, and then I will get going on my art journal page. So the first thing I always have a little bit of trouble with is what to do first, because I have an idea in my head and I want to make sure that the mediums work well together, and I want to know what layers I'm going to do on which. So I think the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a border. I want a border around this page, and I want it to be a leaf border or a vine border because it's like, I want to make it into like a spring page. So I'm going to stamp around, and this page will be fine because it's flat. There's nothing on these back pages besides that, but that's no texture or anything. Whereas these pages are completed already, so these pages have some lumps and bumps, so it might not stamp perfectly, which I can later go on in with a pen and fill up any blanks I want. But another little dilemma I have, as I always do have dilemmas, is even though I want the vines around the page, I also like this little stamp here because it has all the flowers. So I might put this at the bottom, but then I'm like, should I put the vine all the way around it and then put these at the bottom? Or should I have the vine just part of the way around it and put these at the bottom? So you will find out when I will find out. And then also there's a little, because of I added too much paint or something, I don't know what happened, but some paint came through here on here. But you know what? I'm just going to work with it and see what happens. It might not even be noticeable. So I'm going to stamp around, and I'm going to use archival ink for the fact that I'm going to use a lot of watercolors on this paper. And this is a permanent ink once it dries. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to stamp around, and I guess I can share with you a few stamps that I go. And then I'm going to color these in with some green. See, it's stamped really nice there. We'll see how it goes at the top. And then this is not going to be all the way at the top because and we'll stamp there. And then this is where the book comes together, so I don't know how that's going to be either, but a little smearing doesn't hurt anybody, right? And this last one, see, that's what I meant. Let's see if I could, it's kind of hard with the camera in my face, but let's see if we could fill in the piece. I don't mind the doubleness of it, like double lines. See what happens when I'm doing something, when I talk? Not that I make sense anyway, but I feel like I need to talk, which isn't hard for me, but I don't make sense, and now you guys all know that. And you know what? I've just made a decision. I'm going to go all the way around with this stamp. I like that already. So I'm just putting my hand under here and pushing up on the stamp. I know it's giving a little bit of a double image, but I'm okay with that. I've really, since working in my Faux-Bonichi, I have really been not as anal as I usually am, people, and it's kind of shocking, actually. Let's see. Well, we'll see what happens with that brown spot. And I shouldn't, I'm going to stamp off the top part because I don't want, there, I don't want any ink up there. But if I get ink up there, not a big deal. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to stamp the girl, but I want to color her in with watercolor. Pencil crayons, I just bought some. But I want to spray the background with my spritzers, or my mists. And I don't want her to be misted. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I did actually in this card that I had shared with you, is I'm going to stamp this on another piece of paper, fussy cut it out, then stamp her on here and make a mask out of the fussy cut piece and mask it on top. So when I do my spritzing, it shouldn't go underneath the girl. So I'm going to do that right now, and you don't need to see me stamp and fussy cut it out because that's really not that exciting. So I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. So I stamped her out and I fussy cut her out, and there she is. Now I still have the dilemma on if I want to use the flowers or not. I think they look pretty, but then I'm wondering if that's just going to be bottom heavy, and she's on a puddle, so then again, where do I put her? Do I put her like this and then skip her around the flowers? Like, so the flowers aren't underneath her? I'm not sure what to do. I don't know. Everything is such a big decision for me. I like the flowers, but should I do it? Oh, tell me. I wish you guys were here with me right now. Maybe I'll do it. No, maybe I won't. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to take me an hour to decide, so I'll come back once I add the embossing to her. I will come back and we will both see if I added the flower. I have a little embossing pouch I was wondering if I should use, and if you stamp and emboss, heat emboss with embossing powder, you know what it is. It has some white powder in there and you rub it on there and then you stamp, and then when you put your embossing powder on there, it only sticks to where you stamped. All the little pieces won't stick to it, and it's easy to wipe it off. And I was thinking of using that, but then I'm wondering if that little powder, because I don't know how much residue will stay on there, if it'll stay on there, if it's going to affect when I do my watercolor spritzing mists. So I opted not to use it, and hopefully I don't regret that decision. So as you can see, the flowers aren't on here, and I'm still undecided because that's my life. I'm undecided of everything. So I'm going to use the Versamark, and this is what helps the embossing paste stick. It'll stick to where you stamped. And then, as I mentioned before, I didn't want the raindrops, so I'm going to try and wipe off the raindrops. So hopefully, but you know what? I'm going to hit her arm. I know I am. Maybe I'm just going to have to suck it up and leave them there. I'll see. I'll try and wipe some off. And the reason I'm using the embossing powder is because I'm hoping it will stop any overflow from going over when I do the spritzing. Okay, here we go. Ready for it? I hope it's a nice clean image here. I do have an embossing pen, a Versamark pen. Well, I don't know if it's Versamark, but it's a pen, and it helps. If there's any pieces missing, I just can go over it and re-emboss it. Oh, you can see, yeah. Well, maybe you can't see, but I can see that what's that called? The raindrops made it underneath the umbrella. Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm wondering if I can just rub these off. I should get a brush. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm just going to rub those off. We'll see if they work or not. But there are still dots there, but they're not as prominent, so. There we go. We'll see. I don't know. I might have just ruined it. Oh well, we'll see. I will heat emboss it now. Yeah, it didn't work really. Oh well, I will go and heat emboss this now. So there she is. She's all heat embossed. See how the shine, how it turns out? You can still see the darkness of where the other stuff was, but now that the heat embossing, I thought maybe I can rub it off, but no, I can't. It's still there. Maybe once I put the spritzing or the mists on, it'll cover it up better. And then, if you're not familiar with embossing powder, you just put it back in the container and you can reuse it for next time. This stuff, I don't know how long I've had this stuff, but I'll tell you, it lasts forever. I've never used up a container of this yet. Okay, now I want to spritz. I'm so excited to do some spritzing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover her up. And as you can see, I didn't have to fussy cut this because this is shiny and all these thick lines here, they're not going to get covered when I spritz them because I can just wipe them off. So I'm going to add some tape to my image here. Probably went overboard on the tape, but oh well. And now I'm just gonna like put this on my pants or sweater just so it's not as sticky, because if I put this down it might rip up some of the paper because the adhesive is so sticky, but if you put on your pants or something it'll take a lot of the stickiness off because it'll take some lint and that from your pants onto the tape. If you had a post-it note, I know there's some product out there. It's a whole sheet of, kind of like a post-it note, but it's a whole sheet of it. Okay, so I'm going to go and do some spritzing now, the fun part. Now before I actually do my misting, I'm just going to do some background stamps. I have a whole bunch of little ones here, and just to add some more texture to my page, because that's what I wanted to do, was add a lot of texture to my page, or layering, without adding bulk. I'm just going to use a whole bunch of stamps. So I'm going to stamp them. I have some more archival inks. I have a few other colors too. And I'll just do a little bit here and there just to add some more layering or texture to it. And because it's archival, it's not going to, or it shouldn't smear at least when I do my spraying. So I don't know what colors I'm going to do, but I'm just going to have fun, and I'm just going to like put some little textures. Well, I don't like that that's straight like that, but, and I don't know if I like that at all, but hey, I'm playing here. What else do we have? We got some letters. Maybe I'll do some letters. These are probably words and I have no idea what they say. Oh well. I don't know, is that random enough? Because the mask is there, none of this is going to go on my girl. We'll see. That gray almost looks like the black, doesn't it? I think that's probably enough of that. What else can I do? Oh, I'm into the stamping now. Okay. I'm just gonna keep on going. Gray or the black? Maybe I'll do the black. That really looks bad right now, doesn't it? There's a butterfly in there. Let's hope that looks a way better once I add some color. So I'm going to add some color. Well, I figured out which colors I'm going to use, and I just want to say Recollections colors are the stinkiest, most disgusting chemical smell I've ever had, but the colors are pretty. So these are the colors I'm going to use. I'm just going to randomly spray, but try and make it go across. And I just noticed her hand's up a bit, so I'm going to just add a little bit of tape on her hand. So I just took some tape and rolled it up. Okay, that makes me better. Makes me feel better. Okay, we're going to go this way. Okay, once I go, I can't go back, so... And then the pink, the stinky one. Should have shipped these all before, sorry about that. Kind of looks like Pepto-Bismol or something. Oh my goodness, that is just not a nice smell at all. I'm going to actually, I don't have any paper towel, but I noticed there's some of it came out too thick, and I don't want it too thick. And something is leaking. Look at my hand. Definitely something is leaking when I shook it. I shouldn't have added this. This looks like blood. We're gonna just drop that up. I don't want that too thick. And then I put the wax paper behind it too, so it doesn't go onto the color behind it. Everything I touch seems, I think the blue one wasn't on right or something, because my hand is like blue. And now this container is blue. Oh, fun. I have to wash my hands in a bit. Okay. And just soak up some of this stuff too. You know what? The background stamps, they didn't come out how I would hoped. I thought they would have blended more in the background. Maybe I need to add more color. My pages are going to be so drenched. I do like the blue. It's very pretty. That's the Heidi Swapp color. And I just want to soak some up. I think that's pretty good for all the background color. I do need to work on my layering. I just wanted to use a flat. I didn't want it to be lots of thick layers like with paper. So now let's see. Nice. Oh, I guess I'm not reusing this mask. I kind of drenched it. But there she is. Yay! My camera's off. There we go. There she is. So I'm going to let that dry. Probably heat set it with my heat gun. Let that dry, and then I'll come in and I'll start coloring her up and the leaves and that. So I'll be back. Well, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the leaves and color in my image. Oh, there's a little sticky residue left. And what I'm going to use are these Inktense pencils. And I just bought them. Oh, look at the prettiness. There's 2 layers. Oh, and the thing about these that got me interested and excited about them is they are watercolor type pencils, but when they dry permanently. So that is always good. So they won't be reactivated with water. They'll be dried permanently. And I also heard that they are actually more brighter. The colors are brighter and more intense than just regular watercolor pencils. So there's 2 layers. Look at that prettiness. I haven't done any, obviously I just opened it up, but I haven't done any color samples, and I'm not going to. I'm just going to pick some colors and start coloring. So let me start with a green, and we'll try this light colored green. I'm not going to color it all on video, obviously, because it'll take me a long time. But I just wanted to try some. So let's see, like, I don't know if you can tell, because that's kind of far away. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add some color on there. And then I'm going to take my water brush and pull the color around and up. And then once it dries, it's supposed to be permanent so it won't reactivate with water. I was kind of curious just to see how, I think I need more water in here, just to see how using these would work on the mists, because the mists will reactivate with water. So actually they're working really good. I'm impressed. I wasn't sure how they would work. Like with the mists. I knew the pencil crayons would have worked really well, but with the mists. So I'm going to go around and I'm going to color around all the leaves, and then I'm going to color her in. I'm so excited. So I will be back. So I did just the one side, but I thought I would explain to you more about this brush. And what this is an aqua brush. I'm not sure who makes this. I have no idea. I bought this years ago. But what it does is it is a brush and you fill it with water. I take this little black thing off and I fill this with water, and then it draws the water up into the brush, and then you can spread your color around with it. And I know my tip is stained, but it works just perfectly fine. But you don't even need one of these. You can just actually use a regular paintbrush, a kid's paintbrush from the dollar store, and you can just add water that way and pick your water up on your brush and move your color around that way. Now, if anybody's asking about these Inktense pencils, I just want to warn you, they are very, very pricey, but I went on a mission to buy those, and I knew that they were going to be pricey, so I was not surprised. But if anybody is looking to find these, I just want you to know that they are pricey. So be prepared if you're looking into those. So here is my girl all colored up, and honestly, I think this red color is like my favorite color. I haven't obviously colored with them all, I just opened them up, but I just love this color. It's such a deep color. So she's all colored up. I'm still debating on the flowers over here. And then I'll have to do my my sentiment, which I haven't figured out. At first I was going to do something about April showers bring May flowers, but we've had some snow last week, so I might play around with that. And as you can see, that blob is still there, but I didn't want to add gesso to it because I was scared that I didn't think that the sprays would have absorbed into the gesso, so I just left it there. That's why I didn't cover it up with gesso. I thought I forgot to tell you about that. So I'm going to still play around. So far I'm really liking how it turned out. I'm going to just still play around and see what happens. As you can see, I added some flowers. Am I happy with them? No, I probably should not have put them on, but it is what it is. I totally forgot that I wanted to add some embossing paste, and I wanted to add some raindrops with the embossing paste and then color them up. So I had to take apart, she kind of got stuck together, I had to take apart my mask here and reapply it. I had so much fun coloring with my colored pencils. So I'm going to put her back on, and then I'm going to add some of these raindrops with my embossing paste. So it doesn't matter if I go over here because she is covered up. So I'm just going to, and I don't think I have to have it all over the place. Is there a right side to this? Because one thing I cannot see very well. So I don't want to get it on the leaves either, so I'll just kind of put some every once in a while here. Just add it here and there. They don't have to be perfect. Can you believe I'm saying that? I can't. And I want to do the other side as well, so the other page, I mean. I don't even know if they even look like drops. So I'm just going to keep adding. And if I do get any on my vines, I can always peel it off before it dries. There's the one side. I should probably, well, you know what, it'll probably crack and fall off the center of it anyway. And then I'm just going to color these in with some just distress ink to make the raindrops look like rain. Instead of snow, it looks like snowdrops right now because they're so white. So there we go. I will cover up. I will try and scrape off what I don't need. So I'll go off camera and do that because I need to put my head right in there. And I'll be back when this is all dry. My embossing paste is all dry now, so I'm going to add some color, and I'm going to add it just with one of these daubers. And I'm going to use chipped sapphire because it looks the closest to what that puddle color is. So even if I don't get the full outline of the raindrops, I'm okay with that. But actually it's working pretty good. If you could see, I think it's getting some of the background color too. I might need a darker color. And I'm trying to do it very light so it just hits. Some of that embossing paste was a little too, wasn't dry all the way. Why? Because I'm impatient. That's why. So I'm just going to go over it with another layer to darken it up a bit. Darken up the water droplets. Probably would have been a lot better if I would have colored the embossing paste, but I didn't know how much I needed. Ooh, look at that. I love that. That looks perfect. That's what I was actually going for, more like that. But I will just keep going over it and making it deeper. I know some of the color is going onto the background as well. But I think if I keep just adding layers of color, maybe it'll just stick on to the raindrops. And I was going to go for, like I said, a spring theme and a spring sentiment. Oh, that looks cool. I like that. But I think I like this saying here, but if I stamp it, I think it's too tiny. The life is not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. I was going to stamp it on another piece of paper and then cut it up, put it there, but it's so tiny. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to print that up on my computer and then print it out and cut up the strips. So I need a bigger, I think I need a bigger font. That's just so tiny there. So I'll have to do that. I want to share with you what else I did to the raindrops. I don't know if it's going to pick it up, but they were like this, and they didn't pop out as much as I liked them to. So I took my Pitt pen, and I just went over half of the raindrop for some more depth to it. So I'm going to do this side for some more color, and I'll be back. I just wanted to share with you that not only did I go around the raindrops with this Pitt pen to just deepen them a bit, I also went around the other side with this Sharpie pen to show some highlights in the actual raindrops as well. And I'm liking how they turned out. So far I'm liking it. I think I'm going to ink the edges a little bit more because they're not as dark as I'd like them to. I'd like them to be more defined, so I'm going to go around and do that. I'd mentioned that I wanted to add a little bit of a darker edge around the pages, and first I tried my Distress inks, two of my favorites, and I think they're running low on the ink because they didn't really take the color very well. This edge here has a little bit of color, but it didn't come as dark as I wanted to. And what I usually use is my Pitt pen, but because I didn't use a matte medium, this is more absorbent, I wouldn't be able to blend it. I got to blend around here because when I added the words, I added matte medium just on the words, so it overwent a little bit, so I was okay to spread these around, but I wouldn't be around here. So what I decided to use was my Distress stain. So I just took some paper, some wax paper, put it in between the pages so it wouldn't go on to the next page, and then just gave it a little run down the edge here. and then you have not much, but you have a little bit of time to blend it a little bit. But I don't know, I think it's just a little bit better than using the Pitt pen. It does absorb pretty quick too, but it's easy to apply. And I think it might have even helped to take away from that brown blob I have at the bottom here. So, but I like that. I like how it edges it a little bit more. So I'm going to play around a little bit more with that. And then I think I'm done, or close to it. What else can I add to this? I'm having so much fun with this page. So here is my finished art journal page. This is my 4th one, and it seems like every one I like a little bit better than the last one. And this one I really had fun with, and this one I really do like. The only thing I'm thinking of doing is to stamp the date. I had heard that you should stamp your date on your art journal pages so you know when you completed them. But I like the image. I love this image. I love any image with umbrellas. I have no idea why, but I really like these Unity images. And then the raindrops, I like how I added depth and highlight with the different color of pens. And my saying is fun. And I like the border. So I pretty much like everything. The funny thing is though, I added all those stamps for texture background and you hardly see them. And that's one thing I noticed in art journaling. You do so much to your base page, and then once you get all the other elements on, they kind of lose it, which maybe that's the intention of it, but lots of times I watch a video and I'll say, why is she doing that when she just covered up what she just did? And look, I'm doing the exact same thing. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the process. I hope you learned something from it. I know I did. And I hope you all had a very creative day today. Bye now.